Our mission is to provide our nation's veterans with the opportunity to visit memorials and monuments that are dedicated to honoring their service and sacrifice for our country. But in addition to that, an Honor Flight trip gives our veterans the chance to share their stories with other veterans who have experienced similar things, and also to reflect on lives lost during conflicts and service in the wars. So we're always grateful when any organization shows up to support Honor Flight, and I know that the Ohio State Marching Band has been at the Welcome Homes for our Honor Flight Columbus Hub, and we're ever so grateful for that. The veterans, that is like absolutely top notch. When there's music and there are groups out there to support and welcome them home, it makes it a truly amazing capstone for a wonderful day.
We not only remember those who did not make it, but we also remember all those who came back, because a lot of them made the sacrifice, and each and every one of us put our name on a line saying we give up, including our life if we have to. And that's the legacy. And Honor Flight is a great thing because it recognizes these people.
We're actually starting out here in 1981 in June at the Air Force Base Rickenbacker here. It's only like several miles from here, and I was able to, as a result of that, I was able to eventually, after a year and a half or so of working there, I was selected to go to the Air Force Fire Protection Rescue School. That's just one of the things that added into my the years that I was in the fire service, and you might say preparing me for what was going to come one of these days in Arlington, Virginia.
The 9/11 memorials are always kind of on our minds and in our hearts, and you can see the Pentagon right from Arlington. We do stops at Arlington as well, and so it's all kind of folded in. I don't think in the Honor Flight trip you see everything, and it's not just one destination. It's not just to the World War II Memorial, not just to the Korean War Memorial or the Vietnam Wall. There's so much more than that in that day, and so much reflection that goes on, both current and prior events as well.
I'll tell you what, it's important that we preserve the stories, as many of these stories of these people that were involved in this, because the farther away you get from the stories, the more difficult it is to get accuracy, because in time things change and people forget things, but now it's still not that far away. 20 years is quite a bit, and that's hard for me to believe it's been that long, but it is important that we get the stories about all these people that were involved on 9/11.
On that morning, I was worked as a federal firefighter assigned to the Pentagon Heliport Fire Station. The attacks in New York happened just before 9 o'clock and just after 9 o'clock. We became aware of this. Everything was right up until the time we had the attack at the plane crash there at the heliport. Mark Skipper and I had just been in that area, however, on the other side of the fire truck 30 seconds before that. And I think both of us, anybody else that was out there, realized where we were. It was, if we would have remained in the area where we were working, it probably would not have, it would have probably been a different story. I did use a carbon dioxide fire extinguisher on the outside of the fire, at the back of the fire truck, and threw it aside because it was nearly empty. And then I carried another fire extinguisher into the building with me, only after walking into the building about 15 feet. Now I'm down on the floor, and I'm crawling around with a different fire extinguisher. So I'm down on the floor. I've got this great big battle lantern in my left hand, and I got this fire extinguisher, and I ended up, at first I was dragging it, but then I decided to lay the fire extinguisher down, and I started pushing it forward like this. I'm crawling, and whenever I would see what I thought was fire, I would pull the trigger on this thing. And about the second time I do this, I hear a woman yell, "Hey!" Now let me tell you, for me to run into somebody in this situation was the furthest thing from my mind. I'll be honest with you, I had no idea what I was doing. I was certainly conscious, but it never occurred to me that I would interact with anyone, and so that's exactly what happens.
It's always important that you understand and remember history, because in some cases you're bound to repeat it. So if you don't remember history, a lot of things happened as a result of this. The world literally changed when 9/11 took place.